Every day it seems that I see videos of new YouTubers bragging about how much they've made in the last 30 days. And honestly, I'm over it. Everyone dreams of being a successful YouTuber, but no one talks about the real price that you pay to get there. So instead of telling you how much I've made, I'm gonna be breaking down just how hard and expensive it is to get a new channel off the ground. Now, I usually have my AI assistant Tiara with me to help me with my videos, but today it's just gonna be you and me. So let's begin with a little bit of background and how the RoboFinance channel, which you're watching right now, how this came to be. Honestly, this has been a long time coming, like 7 years long. I wanted to start a finance YouTube channel for ages, but I couldn't figure out a unique enough angle to start it. Then a big moment happened. So roughly 5 to 6 years ago, I sold part of my digital media business, and suddenly I found myself with literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest. I'm not saying that to brag. What I'm saying is I realized at that point that I needed to get serious about understanding finances. So I learned everything that I could to become a true expert on the topic. But here's the thing. When you spend so much time learning something, you start to kind of see gaps in how people are talking about it. And that's where the idea for RoboFinance came from. See, AI, it doesn't have bias. It can review thousands of informational sources in seconds. So generally speaking, it gives the best advice possible. And I obviously will interject when I have stuff to add from my own experience, things like that. Now, this isn't my first rodeo with YouTube either. I've had a few channels of my own over the years, and I even grew one channel to right around, let's say it was around 20,000 subscribers. But here's what really gave me confidence. Beyond my own channels, I helped my wife grow her YouTube channel in Brazil, which hit an incredible 3.5 million followers at its peak. And at the end of the day, my goals for RoboFinance, they are pretty simple, but they are ambitious as well. First, I want to help thousands of people improve their finances because there's really nothing better than knowing that you've really helped someone. And second, I want this channel to, hopefully, eventually support my family. To do that though, I need to make around $10,000 a month from YouTube. And right now that feels like it's kind of light years away. But hey, you've got to start somewhere, right? Which does remind me, of course, if you'd be nice enough to support me in my goals by subscribing, just know that I do truly appreciate that. And sincerely, I do. And just so you know how serious I am about this channel, I'm putting in about 5 to 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. So basically I treat this like a full-time job. Now, if you're wondering, why don't I put in more hours and hustle harder, blah, blah, blah. Well, I have some other businesses that I still work on. And I also have 2 kids that are very young. So it's honestly just not possible. And from here, let's dive into the expenses, which they're kind of ugly. I gotta be honest. So here's where all my money has gone. And don't worry, I will give you a total amount invested at the end of this little section, I guess you could say. So first, there were equipment costs. Now, thankfully, I didn't have to spend a fortune on equipment because I already owned a Sony Alpha 6100 camera from a previous channel, and that saved me a big chunk of change. But there were still some things that I needed to buy to level up my setup, right? So first, I got a new light set for $140 to go behind the camera and added backlights for $240 to make the videos look more professional. On top of that, I invested in a teleprompter for $300 so that I could stay on script without constantly, glancing at notes. And luckily, I also had all these acoustic panels installed in the office too before I even started, which is really good to absorb the echo. But altogether, I have about $680 in equipment costs, which is definitely manageable compared to starting from scratch with absolutely nothing. So I was a little bit lucky there. Second, there's software and subscriptions, right? So since RoboFinance is all about exploring financial topics with the help of AI, I rely on several platforms for things like idea creation, scripting, voiceovers, and even the thumbnail design. These subscriptions, they cost me about $110 per month. And over the 5.5 months I've been running the channel, that adds up to $605. So it's not a massive expense, but it is one of those recurring costs that can definitely sneak up on you if you don't keep an eye out. So third are the other costs. Now here's where things get a little bit crazy. So first off, there was, let's just say, an unexpected expense when I got, let's just say, a little too frustrated because during filming, my camera was acting up. And I ended up kind of slamming my hand down and broke through my old table. Relax, buddy. See, you could see it here. My old videos, they had a completely different table. So now let's go ahead and give that table a salute, as it was a good soldier while it lasted. And I know some of you are probably judging me right now, but what can I say? I have 2 very young kids. I'm constantly sleep deprived. And that was an unplanned $230 expense for a replacement table. It is what it is. Now the bigger recurring costs. So those come from outsourcing work. So I have an editor who charges me about $750 per month and a thumbnail designer who charges about $400 per month. Combined, that's $1,150 every single month, which has been running for 4.5 months now, totaling $5,175 so far. On top of that, my full-time virtual assistant spends about 15 hours per week helping with RoboFinance tasks like scheduling or admin work. That accounts for $375 per month, which adds another $1,688 since mid-August. And lastly are the unexpected costs. Of course, there have been some surprises along the way as well. So for example, when I was searching for the right thumbnail designer, I spent, I want to say about $400 testing out different designers until I found one that I actually liked. And in the early days of the channel, I used to feature a robot instead of myself on the thumbnails, and that cost me another $300 for the custom artwork before I pivoted to using my face for the thumbnails, because apparently that's just what gets clicks, I guess. I don't know why. So let's add it all up for the total costs. Equipment, $680 one time. AI subscriptions, $605 so far. Editing and thumbnail designer is $5,175 so far. Virtual assistant, $1,688 so far. Unexpected costs, which are one-time things, $700. So that brings us to a grand total of $8,847 spent on RoboFinance so far. And keep in mind, I haven't made any money back yet. Every dollar has been an investment into building this channel, which is why I really appreciate any support that you give me. This YouTube game, it is the grind of all grinds, in my opinion. And while it's such a thankless job right now, I do think that eventually it will turn a corner. And next, I want to move into the time investment as a cost, because that's also something to consider. So let's talk about something that most people don't always think about when starting a YouTube channel. This is the value of your time. And sure, there's the money that you spend, right? Which we just went over that. But time is one of those hidden costs that can be just as significant, if not more. So I spend about, let's say 30 hours a week working on RoboFinance. That's 5 to 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. And honestly, it's all consuming. Even when I'm not actively working on it, I'm constantly thinking about the channel, what topics to cover next, how to improve my videos, or how to better engage with you, the audience. It's become this massive challenge that I absolutely love, but it also takes up a huge amount of time and mental energy to get it right. Now, if you're wondering, most of my time is spent on creating video topics and the actual scripting. And then there's obviously the filming, which takes its own chunk of time. But here's the thing, time isn't free. So if I weren't spending 30 hours a week on RoboFinance, I could be doing other things like spending more time with my family or even starting another business. Heck, I could also just get a regular full-time job if I wanted to. Now, considering my background and my MBA, it's fair to say that my time is probably worth about $80 an hour, which means that I'm effectively putting $9,600 worth of time every single month into this channel at present. And let me tell you, this journey has been an emotional roller coaster, if I'm being honest. There are days when I feel like a total failure, like maybe this whole thing is a mistake and I will never succeed at it. But then there are good days when I feel like I'm actually making progress and building something meaningful. It's really mentally taxing in ways that I didn't fully expect, but at the same time, it's also incredibly rewarding because I know I'm working towards something that can actually help a lot of people. And I'll choose that business model over everything else every single day of the week because it feels good. It gives you a sense of higher purpose. So let's get into the lessons learned and the advice that I have, even though I am a new creator, but the advice that I have for other new creators. And one of the biggest lessons that I have learned is to always check your credit card statements for software subscriptions. So when you're running a YouTube channel, it's really, really easy to sign up for a tool or a platform to try out and then completely forget that it's a recurring monthly cost. I've done it, right? Those little charges, they add up fast. And if you're not careful, you'll end up paying for things that you don't even use. Another big takeaway, outsourcing editing is absolutely worth it if you can afford it. So my editor works an additional $20 to $25 a week on my videos. And let me tell you, that's been a game changer. Editing is one of the most time-consuming parts of YouTube. And if I were doing all that myself, I would have no time left for anything else. So if you're starting out and you have the budget, outsourcing editing should be your first priority in my opinion. I also learned that sometimes your expectations don't match reality. So for example, when I started RoboFinance, I thought that the channel would be more of a faceless channel and I'd be kind of behind the camera with my AI assistant TR taking center stage. But it turns out viewers really prefer hearing me talk instead of TR. Oh, my cat's here. I'm gonna lose it. I can't do work. Now that was surprising because I thought the AI angle was really unique, but hey, this is all part of learning what your audience wants, so I adjusted. Now, for all you new creators out there, like brand new, here's my advice. First, outsource. If you can only afford to outsource one thing, make it your editing. Even if you can't outsource every video, start with one video per month. It'll save you so much time and mental energy. After that, I'd recommend that you outsource to get good cover designs on your videos, using a platform like Fiverr because covers are crucial to your success. Also, keep improving. You've probably heard this before, but it's true. Focus on getting a little bit better every single video. One thing that's helped me is looking at retention graphs to see where viewers stop watching. And then what I do is I'll tweak my content to keep people engaged even longer. And one thing worth noting here, I don't just do that for one video. I'll usually tweak it for 3 or 4 videos to see how a trend, how it's trending, if you will. I'd also recommend that you work ahead. So YouTube is way less stressful when you have content in the queue. Personally, I keep a month's worth of videos ready as a backup just in case something comes up. And also be patient. And I've had problems with this, but most people, they don't hit it big right away, and that's okay. The key is to keep testing new ideas until something clicks with your audience. And once you find what works, double down on that and then just refine your strategy and keep making those tweaks to make it a little bit better at a time. And the last tip is about mindset, and it's maybe the biggest one. So remember that nobody starts out perfect. Right? We all create videos that flop until we figure out what works. The important thing is to stay consistent and treat every video as an opportunity to improve. Success on YouTube, it isn't about being perfect from day one. It's about showing up, learning from your mistakes, and getting better over time. Now, as cool as YouTube can be as a business, the truth is that AI actually forced me into this career prematurely. And of course, there is a whole story behind that. But to sum everything up really quickly, AI effectively stole my job. And you can learn more about that right here if you're interested. But if not, just check out this other video instead. And before you go, please remember to subscribe to the channel to unlock financial success one AI chat at a time.